Coming up on today's show, I am posing the question, what would you do if you had no barriers? Hello and welcome to Wake Up and Show Up Live. I am your host, Portia Scott. This is a daily show giving you a daily dose of inspiration and empowerment. So, you guys, how is everyone doing? Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thomas, thank you for joining. Ty, thank you for joining. Darling, Mommy, thank you so much for joining. John Henry, I feel like you're on here. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, darling. Hello. You guys know what? I need to get me some coffee mugs. I actually used to have, hey, Tracy, thank you so much for joining. I actually used to have a t-shirt that said, hello, darling. But I feel like, does anybody know anyone that can make a hat? Because I want a hat that has something on. I don't want to tell y'all what it is. But do you guys know people who make hats? I need me some hats. I need some coffee mugs. I need a whole bunch of stuff. So you guys let me know if you guys know someone that does that. Let's get in today's show. So you guys know how we always do. In order to keep up with us, in order to keep in touch with us, we want you to text the phrase wake up to 31996. That's wake up to 31996 so that you can stay in the know. And one of the things we always say is we love to do our acts of kindness, right? We may not be able to feed the 5,000, but guess what? We can impact one. Family Promise is a organization here that is in Savannah, Georgia. And what they do is they provide services for homeless and specifically homeless women and children. We've had the opportunity to serve with this organization as well. They usually do a big community event during the summer. I don't know if that's going to happen. They're also helping out victims who have been displaced, especially women and children during the COVID-19 pandemic. So Family Promise, go check them out because it is nice to what? Be nice. Hello, Paula. Thank you so much for joining. So you guys know we always ask, what are you grateful for? What are you guys grateful for today? In the comments, you know how we do. If somebody in the community or if I say something that resonates with you, you type in hello, darling. So you guys can see Rena, Ty has already started. Hello, darling. Hello. Paula said, hello. You guys, I am so grateful that you guys are on. So today, listen, I want to pose this question. What would you do if there were no barriers? And what do I mean by barriers? I mean that what would you do if money was not an issue, if education was not an issue, if relationships were not an issue, if your network wasn't an issue, if your pedigree wasn't an issue, if all of your things wasn't an issue, if fear wasn't an issue? What would you do if you had no barriers? I asked this question I think at the very beginning of when we started this show. What would you do? I'm going to pause for effect and I'm going to pause for the delay. So I want you guys to type in. I know you're saying, Portia, why do you always have us typing in and putting stuff? I don't want to put my business out in the street. One, when you type it in, you are reminding yourself of what it is that you are capable of doing. Number two, when you put it in the comments, you are letting the world know that one, you are fierce, that you are incredible, that you have great ideas, and it doesn't matter what somebody thinks, but these are yours specific to you. So you guys in the comments, let's go. What would you do if you had absolutely no barriers? If there was no money situation, if there was nothing, what would you do? And if you know somebody that is thinking about doing something, and listen, this does not have to be just, oh, well, I don't want to have a business, or this spans outside of all of that. What would you do? What do you feel you're called to do? What do you want to do? What do you love? What do you want to do? Ty says, I would live remotely in each state for the next 5 years. Come on, Ty would travel. I know Thomas said at one point that he would travel the world with his children. So it is whatever it is that you feel like you wanted to do. My mom is on here, Rena, and I'm going to put this out here that as long as I can remember, my mom has always wanted to own a clothing store for children. Very funny because she is not crazy about kids. However, she was like, if I could get a clothing store, the parents will come in. So that's one of the things that I know she has desired to do. So mommy, I'm putting you out there. And so you guys tell me, what would you do if there were no barriers? Why? I want you guys to really think about this. What would you do if you had no barriers? Where could your mind go if you had no barriers at all? Travel the world with my girls. Absolutely, Thomas. What would you do? I think sometimes we don't even ask the question because we're so afraid of the barriers to even ask the question, to even say it out loud. What is it that you would do if you had no barriers? One of the things that I get to do as a podcast host, as running a media company and developing podcasts and being able to come on here is I get the opportunity to interview a lot of people. Over the last 4 seasons of the podcast, I have interviewed quite a few people, and I will tell you that no story is the same. They may be doing, maybe somebody has an event business and somebody else does too, but none of the stories are the same. None of the reasons why they do it is the same. None of their challenges are the same. The way they come to their business or the way they do whatever it is that they do, it's not the same. I mean, we know people on one of the shows, I had a breast cancer survivor. Not all breast cancer survivors are the same. They all don't have certain things that someone else had or dealt with something someone else has or is using it in the same way. And so it's so important that we understand that we're all different, because I think so many times we don't do it for these reasons. And these are the 3 reasons. And there's probably more, but listen to this. Someone else has already thought about it. Oh, someone else has already thought about traveling the world with their girls and it didn't work for them. Somebody else has already thought about living remotely in each state and it didn't work out because, you know, Susie over here tried to work remote and they told her no. Sally over here tried to travel the world with her girls, but you know what? They didn't have a curriculum that would fit. So you could have all the trouble. Oh, I cannot open this kid's clothing store because Zara has one, H&M has one, Jack and Janie has one. All of these people have one already. Carter's, Oshkosh B'gosh. So clearly I couldn't open it up because there's already one there. Number 2, no one will buy it, listen to it, like it. Who cares? Honestly, you have to stop saying that that's a barrier. Nobody will listen, like it, or buy it because you don't even know. You've already counted yourself out because you think that what you have is not good enough. You feel like nobody will buy into my idea. Nobody will buy into my dream. And what I mean buy in is I don't mean financial, but I even mean encouragement. I even mean, inspiration. Somebody will buy into what you have. This is uniquely you, and I'm telling you. So that's number 2. Number 3 is someone else should do it. Someone else with more money. Take my daughters to Europe and Egypt. Come on, mommy. I'm going. I'm buying. Let's get our tickets. And so somebody else will do it. That's not something I am supposed to say, or that's not something I'm supposed to do, or that's not something my family has ever done, or that's not something that somebody in my gender or my race or my class or my religious status is supposed to do. I'm going to leave that for somebody else. These are some of the reasons why we do it. So I'm going to tell you guys, for Mother's Day, I asked my husband for an extravagant gift. When I say extravagant, it's extravagant because normally you wouldn't pay this for the gift that I wanted. We were in LA in February, and in February is when I went to the podcast conference. I was a speaker. I had actually only had my podcast for 7 months and I was already speaking at a conference. So come on, y'all. You cannot say leave it for somebody else. You can't say somebody else won't join or won't listen or won't buy into it. They will when you are in your pocket, when you are in the thing that you want to do. So we were in LA and we go to the Grove, one of our favorite places, and they have this pop-up shop. And the pop-up shop says it's Lunya. We were like, what is Lunya? And it was all nice and I mean modern, and it just it drew you in. It had dark, like, because it's sleepwear. And so I think it was like glass, but it was like black glass, and it said, honey, it didn't say loungewear only. It didn't say sleepwear. It didn't say pajamas. It said elevated loungewear. I never heard what is elevated loungewear. Oh, I want to know what this is. And so we go in here and and it is beautiful. I mean, it just makes you want to just get in bed right then. And so I'm touching all of this stuff. It's nightgowns and it's cardigans to go with the nightgowns, darling. And I mean, they have sports bras and they have leggings and they have silk pajamas and they have silk shorts to go with the pajamas. And then they have silk whole outfits. Girl, I said, oh, what have I been missing out on? Don't leave me out, Lunya. I want to know what this Lunya thing is, right? So I'm touching, and the girl is me and John Henry, we act crazy when we act a fool when we go into places, And so we went in, and I'm just feeling on the stuff, and he's feeling on the stuff, and he liked the stuff, and so I had already known. I mean, I didn't know the price, but I knew that this wasn't Tarjay. I knew that this may not be the Victoria's of the Secrets. I knew that this was something else. And so, girl, and then they have the pictures of the ladies, and the ladies are standing by these tall windows. And the thing about it is, I loved it because they're regular women, right? So when I look, I can see myself in there. And so I felt on the loungewear, child. And as I was sitting in the pop-up shop, I imagined that I was in the middle of Indonesia, somewhere in the middle of the ocean in a bungalow, honey, just prancing around in my elevated loungewear. But then your girl looked at the price tag, and I knew we wasn't in the Victoria's of the Secrets. Oh, I knew we wasn't at the Nordstroms. I knew we was not at the Tarjay, and I knew we were not at Macy's. And I wonder if Ashley Merrill thought about that before she created Lunya. And so she could have said, well, I'm not going to create loungewear, because what's the difference between loungewear and elevated loungewear? What's the difference between lingerie and this loungewear? If she would have stopped there, she would have left a space open in the market for somebody else to come and pick it up, because somebody else should do that. I know Macy's has loungewear. I know the Tarjay. I know the Marshalls has a loungewear. But let me tell you something about when you have an idea, when there is no boundary, it does not matter who else has it, who else is doing it. So we come back, because I ain't leave with no elevated loungewear that time, but we go back to the hotel. You know, the first thing we didn't even get from the hotel on our phones, I was like, that's a new word, elevated loungewear. Nowhere. You could look up loungewear and you can find it everywhere. Amazon has it. But when you look up elevated loungewear, oh no, they got that on lock. And I say that because I wonder what it was that she thought about this. She's a mom. She said she was going by a mirror one day, and I can't remember. I think it was a Star Wars t-shirt or something she had on. In that moment, she had an idea that I don't want to wear this, and I want to make loungewear for the regular woman. Honestly, I go into the Victoria's of the Secrets, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm going to have to wear that. And then who I'm going to walk around the house with? Now that's fine. And it's fine. It has its place, y'all. But I can't walk around the house with, with it all out. You know what I mean? I can't walk around the house with it all out, right? I got a 6-year-old son. I got a 12-year-old daughter. She don't care. But my 6-year-old son, he be asking questions I can't answer, and I don't want to answer as to why mine look different. I don't have the time. But this loungewear not only makes me feel sexy, but it also elevates my mind. So like I tell you, when I put on that, Oh, I'm not only sexy, but I am sexy somewhere in Indonesia, darling. I am already in Bali. So Bali. So it takes me somewhere. They have put in my mind, they have marketed it so well that in my mind, when I put it on, I done tuned in at the wrong time. When I put it on, it gives me a feeling. Why did I use her? I used her because what she created was something we see every day. And so she did not think about, oh, someone else should do that. She didn't think about the fact that, oh, there's already loungewear in the market. She didn't think about no one will buy it. She had the idea. She had the love for something. So what would you do if you had no barriers? What would you do if you had no barriers? So go sail around the world. Go stay at the states that you want to stay in for 5 years here and there remotely. Go do the thing. Because she said, oh, I'm going to do this. I don't care if nobody doesn't show up. Obviously, I want people to show up. But if they don't show up, this is still my dream. This is still my vision. And so we're going to take this next span of time, and we're going to talk about those barriers. So in the military, y'all know I was in the military. I know I'm so cute. Y'all don't even think I was in the military, but I was. And let me tell you, when I was in the military, I was a sharpshooter, meaning I was very good at my rifle. The only reason why I was not an expert was because of these eyes. These eyes will fool you. They have contacts in them and they cannot see anything. And so that is the only reason why I wasn't an expert, was because of these eyes. But had God allowed me to have those good eyes, I would have been an expert. But contrary to popular belief, when you fire a weapon, it is not easy and it is extremely scary the first time, the second time, the third time. And so the military puts in place this acronym to help you make sure that you are able to shoot correctly, that you are efficient in what you're doing. So if there's something that you would do without a barrier, I want you to take this. We call it brass. We call it brass. And so how am I going to take what I'm thinking? Girl, we're going to take the limits off. We're going to take the barriers off, and we're going to use what we used in the military to make sure that those things happen. Even if I can't travel every single state, I'm going to start off traveling one state. I'm going to start it off on the weekend. I'm going to start traveling one place with my girls. I'm going to start dreaming about whatever my kid's store is going to look like. You cannot stop me from dreaming. You cannot stop me from exposing myself and finding people that are doing what I wanted to do. Oh no, honey, we are dreaming, and we are dreaming big. And so we're going to use this, because when I was in the military and they told me I had to fire my rifle, I had to remind them that I just signed up for the college money. I did not sign up to go to war. I did not sign up to learn how to fire a weapon, but I'm so glad I did, because it is this acronym that is going to help us. And so one of the things, the first thing in brass is breathe. Breathe. Honestly, just breathe. Because when you put that rifle, when you put that firearm, when I was in the military, we learned how to shoot on an M16A2 rifle. It is big and it is heavy. It is not like a Glock 9. You don't do all the stuff you see people doing in the movies. That doesn't happen. It is not easy to fire a rifle. And I think one of the reasons is because most of us are sane and we really do understand what that can do. And most of us don't want to kill other people. And so it is very scary. It is very scary, much like our dream, much like our dreams, much like our visions, we have barriers, and the barrier is fear oftentimes. And so they tell you to breathe. And it is not yoga breathing. It is your natural rhythm of breathing. Just breathe. They want you to breathe in and they want you to breathe out in your natural rhythm. Why? Because this settles you. It also makes you come in contact with who it is that you are. You start to hear the sound and the rhythm of how you breathe. And so oftentimes when we are deciding on something, we are deciding on things that are outside or looking at things outside of our natural rhythm. If I want to do something, it is because that's what I want to do. So it does not matter about the external factors. It doesn't matter about the barriers, but I want to be in so succinct rhythm to who I am. Can I learn a new skill? And yes, all of that. But what this really is being comfortable in the skin you're in. And so they want you to be comfortable in who you are and have confidence that you can do this. So I tell you that if there's something you want to do, the first thing I want you to do is breathe. I want you to breathe and march to your natural rhythm. I want you to do what you naturally can do and are good at. And sometimes we need to just sit there and breathe. What does the natural heartbeat sound like? What does that feel like for me? And so it is breathing. We want to relax, we want to breathe, and we don't want to stop at that point. You know, it's funny because what breathing does is it centers us into our own rhythm. You know, most of us were going along life, just living life. We saw the stuff going on in Wuhan, China, and we was like, girl, I can't even believe it. But we never thought, or we thought very little, that we would be in the same situation as we thought in Wuhan, China. And what breathing does is that it tells me that, okay, there's a pivot, there's a change, there's something coming that may be a little scary. There may be something that I got to do in order to get to the thing that I want to get to, but I'm going to breathe and I'm going to march to my natural rhythm. I'm going to march to the natural rhythm. I'm not going to tense up. I'm going to breathe. And then the next one is relax. So we're going to breathe. We're going to have our natural rhythm of things. Who am I naturally? What does that mean? What does that look like? I'm not trying to be somebody over here because that's not my natural rhythm. So me trying to do it like someone else isn't natural. But then I'm going to relax. I'm going to relax. It's so easy to tense up because you're scared of what's going to happen. We all are. And even when you're learning how to fire your rifle, you are scared about what's going to happen. You are scared about the impact. Like I said, I learned how to shoot on an M16A2 rifle. It is big and it has kickback. And that was the first time I had ever fired a weapon. And I really didn't know what recoil was until I felt it. And so when you're holding it, you want to put it like in this hollow place of your shoulder so that when it does, it doesn't kick you back, but you're able to hold on to it. But when you breathe and when you relax, then you know that the recoil is coming. You know that the detour is coming. And so oftentimes we don't want to go after what we want to go after because we're so afraid of the pivot. We're so afraid of the change. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's going to happen. There's going to be a pivot. There's going to be a detour. There may be a delay. There's going to be some type of recoil. But I am telling you, if you breathe and you relax in the recoil, when you get that kickback, you have enough stamina that, yeah, it's going to hit me a little bit, but it's not going to move me back. It's not going to take me 10 steps back. And so it's so good that nothing good has ever come without some kind of kickback, some type of recoil. And so it trains you in the recoil that's going to happen every single time you shoot. Every single time you do it, you're going to get it. It's not like, oh, it just happens sometime. It happens every single time you shoot your weapon. Every single time you go for it, there's going to be something. There's going to be something you don't know. It's going to be something that you don't know how to do. That's a recoil. Something you don't know, that's a recoil. It sets me back a little bit. Oh, there's going to be something that I didn't know I had to pay for. That's going to set me back. Oh, I didn't know this. But does that mean we stop? Absolutely not. It means that we build that recoil muscle. And honey, we are going to relax in it. We are going to relax in what it is that we are supposed to do. And so once I've breathed and I understand the rhythm of what it is that I'm doing, then I'm going to relax. That I know the recoil is going to happen, and that's fine. But recoil isn't a stop. Recoil is just a kickback. Recoil is just a reminder of how powerful your weapon is. Recoil is just a reminder of how powerful that person is that's holding it. Recoil is just a reminder that the only thing that is constant is change. And so we have that recoil. So we breathe, we relax, and then we're going to aim. We're going to aim. And the reason why the aiming is so important is because it is so hard to hit your target if you're looking at somebody else's target. It is, you will kill somebody. You will hurt somebody if you are looking at somebody's target. And so while you are going after whatever it is without barrier, if you spend the majority of your time looking at somebody else's target, you will never hit your own. And so the person that you are going to hurt, the person that you're going to injure is you. It is going to be you that you injure if you continue to look at somebody else's target. One of the other things that they do on the range is that each of you guys have your own foxhole or you have your own lane. Everything is straight in the pocket. Everything is straight on. And so sometimes they have targets that are like paper targets. You got your paper. Then sometimes you have pop-up targets. And pop-up targets, what this trains you to do is be focused, because the pop-ups they come one at a time, and they may come a little faster at some times, but they still come one at a time. Why? Because they want to make sure that you are focused on your lane, because even if I take my eyes off my lane, I will miss it. I will miss one target. I may hit one, but I'll miss another, and I may hit this. And so there's no strategy when I'm looking at somebody else's. So I want to be aimed. I want to be proficient in what it is that I'm doing. I want to be focused. One of the things every single Monday, I have an accountability call with another woman. The reason why we do this is because we tell each other the task that we're going to do for the week, and we hold each other accountable. So if I say I'm going to do this task, we ask, how are we going to get it done? What didn't we do last week? What are we going to do this week? It is our aim. It is our focus. And last week, I didn't get done what I was supposed to get done. And you know why? Because I was looking at somebody else's target was prettier, bigger, more built out, I thought was more professional. And guess what? I lost time on what I was supposed to deliver. Aim is so important, because we have to be so focused that we tune out somebody else's lane. Because if I look at your lane and try to do it my way, then what happens is I not only lose my target, I'm no longer relaxed because I'm not set in my pocket. I can't breathe because I'm not at my own rhythm. I've taken somebody else's rhythm on. And so that's why we got to aim. And then the last one, darling, the last one is squeeze. Squeeze. There's another one that says slack. I didn't use the other S. I just used one S, which is squeeze, because that's what I learned when I was in the Army. But apparently they done got big and bad, and now they have slack in there. Okay, but we're going to use squeeze. So remember, our acronym is BRASS. It is breathe, relax, aim, and squeeze. What does that mean? That means that, baby, I'm going for it. I'm getting ready to squeeze this trigger. And the squeeze means I'm going to do it one at a time, one day at a time, one task, whatever that looks like. I'm going to squeeze, because so many of us stay within breathe and relax. We'll get to aim, but sometimes we get off. So we go back to breathe, relax, and aim. Breathe, relax, and aim. I have the idea. This is what I would do if I had absolutely no barriers. I know what my rhythm is going to be. I'm going to relax into it. I'm going to make sure that I know that change is going to come, that I'm going to feel the recoil of the weapon, whatever it is that I'm trying to do. I'm going to aim. I'm going to aim. I'm going to aim. I'm going to aim, but I never release. I never release, because I go back to tell myself the same things over and over again. Someone else has already thought about it. No one will buy it, listen to it, or even like it. And number 3, someone else should do it. So we're at breathe, relax, aim. But baby, today we are squeezing. We are going to be aware of every one of our steps, and we are going to squeeze, because the only way that you are going to hit your target is to execute. You have got to squeeze the trigger. And what happens when you squeeze the trigger on just one thing? It lets you know that you're able to do it. That sometimes that's all you need to know, is that you are able to do, that you can do this, that I can stand up in that meeting and say that this is wrong, or that this is my idea, that I can go and travel the world, that I can go in vacation, that I can open up that kid's store, that I can move the needle forward in my business, that I can pivot in my business or my career, that I can raise children that love each other, that love the Lord, that are going to be contributing members to society, that I can do this, whatever it is that you want to do, without barrier. And so that's the reason why I asked earlier, what would you do if you had no barriers? Because if not now, when? And I don't think it's ever been more clear to us than the season, the situations that we are in right now. If not now, when? So I challenge you to go breathe. It's your rhythm. It's your rhythm. How you want to do it, how you want to see it, how it's going to be for you. And I want you to relax. I want you to relax into it, because we know recoil is going to happen. It doesn't keep us in a place of waiting for the next shoe to drop. But what it says is that I am ready for any pivot. I am ready for any change. I am ready for any challenge, because this is my rhythm. This is my thing. And so I'm just going to relax in it. And then I want you to aim. I want you to be focused on your target alone. And then I want you to squeeze, baby. I want you to go in and I want you to do it. I want you to write that. I want you to love that way. I want you to start that. I want you to begin. I want you to do whatever it is that you feel in your heart to do, that you would do with no barrier. What could you do to make your dream come true and you don't have the money? Well, you can go research. You better go start looking at all the places you want to travel and how you're going to get there. We are no longer dreaming. We are no longer going to just exist. We are going to be intentional, and we are going to execute. We are going to make this happen, because if not now, when? Just asking for a friend. When are you going to do this? So you guys, that is our time today. We have actually gone over, and I apologize, because you guys know I like to keep you for 30 minutes or less, but I did come on 4 minutes late. So we are at 32. So I actually have 2 little minutes left, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this message, share. Y'all know I always say this. Your girl is trying to go to Essence. Hello, somebody. I want to be on the Essence stage. I want to host. I want to have a little podcast there. Y'all come on. Yes, waking up is automatic. Showing up is intentional. Today, I will show up. Yes, Paula. Thank you guys so much for joining. I don't want you guys to waste your gift. Our guest yesterday, Michael, said, God wastes nothing. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was wasted. And it can all be used for what you want to do now. So if not now, when, my friends? When are we going to do it? And so I challenge us to start now. What does that look like? Take one task, do one thing. What's the next one thing that you need to do whatever you need to do? Maybe I need to look up passports. How much are passports for me and my kids to go? What are all the requirements? So when this opens up, I got everything down packed. Hello, somebody. What if I'm getting ready to change something in my business? How am I going to do that? Let me take a little bit. You know what? If I just take 10 minutes a day to just brainstorm, I can do it. Y'all, we got this. We got this. And we are going to do so much, because our barriers, we are destroying our barriers with brass. Hello, somebody. Come Come on. We are destroying our barriers with brass. You guys remember, breathe, relax, aim, and squeeze. I appreciate you guys so much. If you want to keep in contact and make sure that you know what we're doing next, what's happening on the Wake Up and Show Up podcast, on the Wake Up and Show Up live, I want you to text the phrase wake up to 31996. That's wake up to 31996. As always, we will be back here tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I love each and every one of you. We end every single episode with this declaration. Waking up is automatic. Showing up is intentional. Today, I will show up. See you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. But